Welcome to Talent Alchemy. I'm so excited to host today's Release Roundtable with some of my favorite colleagues and peers from the SAP SuccessFactors ecosystem, the folks that I admire, learn from, and genuinely enjoy debating SuccessFactors features and functionalities. So this group is part of our SuccessFactors Confident program. They are influencers, thought leaders, and trusted voices in the SuccessFactors community. And let's be honest, people who actually read the release notes so the rest of us don't have to. We'll come together twice a year and our confidants will talk about their top 2 or 3 release items that truly mattered and why customers should care about that. Think of this more as the signal over noise, or just the real insights from people who live and breathe success factors every day. And I'll try to bring different confidence for each release roundtable as their time permit. Okay, so let me introduce this year's panel. First off, I have Imran Sajid, our go-to guru for all things core HR, payroll, and time. Also a founding member of the Payroll Baddies. You can see Imran in his outfits. Yeah, with his payroll chain. If there is a trick in payroll or a new time tracking feature, he's probably already explained it on LinkedIn. If he has not, let us know. We want to make sure he does. Yeah. Next, I have Becky, Rebecca Murray, an HR tech strategist who brings clarity to everything from EC, talent suite to HR transformation. So she's the one you want in your corner if you are navigating HCM transformation. And then I have Eric Ebert, all the way from Denmark, who is known for deep platform analytics, workforce planning insight, and integration fluency. So if your systems don't talk to each other, he's the one who will tell you why and maybe how to fix it. And then I have Sandeep Nahata, all the way from London, whose expertise spans from talent suite, from talent intelligence hub to career and talent development and work zone. And he is founder of one of our key open skill ecosystem partner, Talent Team. And if you want to talk about skills-based transformation, he's your guy. And rounding our panel today is Pablo Stuardo, a talent suite and EC expert who helped translate complex success factor features into real world outcome. He's actually master of all modules. Pablo, I don't think it's just talent and EC. You are a Swiss Army knife. Pablo can deep dive into any fix and he can come up with the root cause and a fix for no time. Well, I think that's a great looking group. Eric, let's start with you. What's your top 2 or 3 release from the 2H 2025 release?
Yeah. So I think really it's a silent one, but one that will in sometime in the future we will be talking about this day when People Intelligence and Business Data Cloud were finally made it to life. I think it was announced back in February. We had Mr. Klein himself on stage talking about this data sphere, business data cloud, and there was a lot of buzz about it. But finally, with this release, we saw it actually happen. I think this is something that the entire strategy of SAP is hinged upon, because if SAP does not own the data layer, there's no AI, there's nothing to feed into the AI. And in 2 years' time, we need lots of data to feed into the AI. So if People Intelligence, if Business Data Cloud does not play out, this is something that is too big to fail, too important to fail. And it needs to be on the top agenda of the boardroom meeting at SAP. I'm sure it is, because if People Intelligence and the Business Data Cloud is not being adopted by customers, it means that they're hosting their data somewhere else. And if they're hosting their data somewhere else, then SAP does have a valid or a valuable AI proposition. So I think this is, and I know it's not one that all customers are looking for right now, but they will be looking for it in the releases to come. And this release marks the start of the era. So I'm super excited about the one.
Rick, I got a question for you, and please excuse my ignorance. It's not necessarily something that I'm deep into it, but if we were to keep it in practical terms, right?
Mhm.
What does this mean, right? Because if we think about it, a lot of organizations have other solutions, right? So they have, let's keep it simple, right? Employee Central, send the data to either a data hub powered by X software, right? Or they already invested a lot on Tableau, Power BI, and the whole mechanism, right? The whole architecture. Why is this even relevant anymore? Or not?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I mean,
I promise it's like completely like legit
Yeah.
question
Okay.
because
So
I don't know.
why is this? Well, there's plenty of data. You won't get into Power BI. I've seen Power BI dashboards fill up very quickly. And Power BI is so easy to get to. It's easy to acquire. There's 5 million Power BI super experts out there. You build dashboards very easily, but you also build a giant bowl of spaghetti. Sorry to say, Power BI folks. So with the Business Data Cloud, you get a data library. You get a foundational layer where the data is structured. You have metadata. You use the authorizations from SuccessFactors, so you can actually build dashboards that you can share with your line of sight business or the business leaders. You also get aligned data across the different line of business applications. So it's not just for HR; it's for the entire, the entire enterprise. So all lines of business will have ability to use business. So I think why is this relevant? Well, maybe SAP should have been here 3 years ago, but better late than never. I
Yes.
think the big opportunity for SAP companies to look at Business Data Cloud because they have HR data warehouse, then have financial data warehouse, then have IT, and they have and then they have these Power BI solutions all over. With Business Data Cloud, you actually get an aligned data model where you can look at your cost centers in finance, your cost centers in HR, your profit centers, your legal entities and all these different objects. You have a unified data model. So I think that is why it's relevant. And why? Well, many companies, of course, they have not been waiting for this. They have been doing what they have had to. So of course they've built data warehouses or they've purchased tactical solutions to fulfill the HR reporting, HR analytics, HR workforce planning needs. Of course they've done that, but now SAP has a viable offering.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Eric. And one of the key things I want to add here is that SAP's agentic offering is going to be based out of BDC, meaning that's the foundation data most of the agents are going to look for. So awesome. Do you have anything else, Eric?
I think another era that we will be looking into is the topic of service delivery, HR service delivery.
Yeah.
SAP has had this very silently living solution called EC Service Center, Employee Central Service Center, which has been around for ages and ages. Now we finally have a modernized AI-enabled, AI-powered solution that is able to take up competition with the big competitor out there that we're not mentioning right now. And yeah, again, just to come first question, Pablo, companies do this? Well, they have chosen other solutions, but they might come back. And there's a value of having a suite of applications within the same data stack, within the same application stack. So having HR service delivery means having the data. So you know what are people asking about? You have the data, you have the events, you have all the transactions in the same data stack. Feeds into AI. I think HR service delivery or SuccessFactors enterprise service management, that is also, it might not be the top-notch product right now, but it fulfills quite many of the boxes that we need. And in 2 years' time, we'll look back at second half 25 and say that's where it started.
Yeah, I agree. I actually think that's a really cool one. I think you mentioned some really core value adds because there's some people that I've talked to on that one, Eric. Like, look, if you're using ServiceNow, guess what? You also have to leave it and go somewhere else and do something. Whereas the value with ESM is, hey, your people profile is literally embedded in there, right? And then you're creating the ticket from Joule, right? And so then the agent has the people profile data. And let's just say, it requires a change. Boom, you're in there, you can make a change. You went out on leave and some action has to happen in EC. Boom, that's time saved, right? That's ROI right there. And then you made it easier for the employee to get that help because they're in the same place. And guess what? If you're using Joule effectively, you can ask questions about your HR policies. If you're using the whole AI part, then you maybe get an answer. It doesn't have what you need exactly, and then you can create a ticket in there. So you made the process of doing that easier, and then on the admin side, the process of resolving it easier. Like there's a lot of efficiency gains in that process. And you're right, like the EC Service Center didn't have that, right? There's some history there, and there were some reasons, and it was built on a different technology, and whatever. But I think this directionally is the right approach, and it will have unique value that a competitor won't be able to replace.
Yeah.
for sure.
Absolutely.
So
And
that would be my two top picks, Rinky. Big
yeah, great.
picks.
Yeah, no, thank you, Eric. I was just going to add, and the lesson learned from this is that 3 letters acronym works, not 4 letters. So ESM works. So Imran, why don't we go to you next? So since you were already talking, what's
All
your
right, yeah, sounds good. So the first one I'm talking about is AI, right? That's the other area that I like. So I saw a number of Joule enhancements, and I think this is one of the things that also shows the value that we previously talked about with cloud, but now you're seeing it with AI, right? Because if you have Joule implemented, my experience has been, because I have implemented it, it's just getting more and more powerful each release, or even in between releases, right? And so there were, when the first time I implemented it a long time ago, I was like, not that impressive compared to Gemini or some of those other models. But now, it being more familiar with the data models, it being trained more, it's getting better for sure, right? So I like having like, as soon as you turned it on, it started working for a lot of use cases. It didn't require configuration. So, like when I first turned it on, there was some technical setup that, we had to figure out. But after that, the AI suggestion and text boxes didn't have any additional configuration. It just worked. Compensation insights didn't have to be set up separately or anything like that within Employee Central. No mapping, no nothing. It just worked. And then I bring that up because in this release, those things got better, right? So compensation insight is now better at sourcing more things. That was specifically in the release. Asking about HR policies was also enhanced now, where you can get a little bit more context, or you can sort it by locations and some of those things. So the value of those is continuing to get better. So I thought that was a cool one for my first one. And
Can I ask a quick question,
yeah,
Imran?
yep.
So to keep it practical, right? Because I suspect a lot of the people who are eventually going to be listening to this, right? It goes beyond our circle of influence or circle of professionals, right? If I'm a client, you were using the term turning it on. If I wanted to take advantage of some of those features functionality in general terms, how do I go about it? Do I have to pay someone? Can I do it myself? Does it like how do I go about it? And you might not know.
Yeah, so
I don't know, but putting you on the spot,
no,
man.
no, no. Probably not something you do yourself, right? You do need a partner that's done it before, ideally, or one that's competent, right? It's new, so even if you have a great consultant you've been working with for a long time, they haven't done it, but they're technically savvy, right? SAP has programs to help people with that, so it does require someone kind of setting it up for you. Big thing is there's like setup of actually activating Joule within SuccessFactors. It's actually from like a BTP client. You have to just basically set that up, a little bit of like IAS work for the authentication. That's some of the ones where you might have technical challenges there, but once you resolve it, then within SuccessFactors, it's there, right? Joule is on, and then within SuccessFactors, it's actually a pretty easy admin center. You go there and you check. I want this specific functionality on. I want this functionality on. I want this functionality on, based upon like some of the modules and things like that, right? And so, yeah, hopefully that answers it.
And just because people will ask Imran in terms of like respecting access to data and role-based permissions, that's all accounted for. Yep.
Yeah, for
exactly?
sure. For
Yeah.
sure. So yeah, that's a good thing to point out, right? Because it is scary. It's new, and it's like, hey, what if you can trick this into doing something, or like that type of stuff. I still get questions on, and so you're right. It's still using an API to update the data. I'm pretty sure, right? So if you don't have that right authorization for it, then it's not going to go in and update your own basic pay to give you a raise, or something along those lines. So
Come on, man.
yeah,
I thought we were more advanced, man. Are you saying I cannot give myself a bonus? Is that what you're saying?
Pablo, you can just bill more hours and you'll give yourself a bonus out, right?
If you can find an easier way to go about it, Pablo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
All right. Second topic is the time area, right? A big one that was delivered was geofencing for clock times, right? And so that one, I got a personal story. About
Huge.
a year ago, that was something that, we were looking at, fitting this for a client, and time tracking didn't have that. And so that was the reason we lost. So like, it was good to see that is now delivered, because if you're in a certain industries, you have workers that are coming to a specific location. And look, you don't want them to be able to clock in from home, right? And just put it on their phone and do it. And so it limits like the rollout of mobile in some cases, right? Or bringing your own device versus having a company device, or just having a clock there. So now you can be more confident rolling out mobile, giving it to employees on their own devices, and then making sure in that location, right? So I think that's a really, really big one. And then the second part of that is there were a number of mobile enhancements in time tracking where you can do like half day absences that where it wasn't supported before, and copying and pasting in the timesheet there. So I think those are great. I'm gonna cheat a little bit, Rinky. So I know we're talking about this release, but
Yeah.
I have to mention workforce scheduling. It's going to come out in the next release. So that was a big announcement at Success Connect. And, it's something we've wanted for a very,
Yes.
very long time, right? Because people always ask about it. And having that available, SAP SuccessFactors workforce scheduling, I'm really looking forward to that in
Yes.
the last release. Okay, and then the last one is
Yeah.
payroll, of course. Payroll. A couple things, payroll data and the people profile. I like how it's organized now. I think that was a nice touch. I got a cool story on this that I just saw. I think I put it in a chat with us too, right? And so one of the things that they released for admins was the ability to see the data integration and the last time it's happened directly from there as an admin. So you can see, okay, has this person been integrated recently, or when did that happen, or did it fail for some reason? And so then, I talked to product management and said, hey, it'd be nice if you also had the time data here if you're using time tracking. Right? And so they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And I think they had already thought about it, so I didn't give them the idea. They kind of already knew. But literally this week, I went in and it was actually delivered. So I don't know when they delivered it or how, but it wasn't originally in the release, but now it's there. So nice
That's
work.
the Imran effect.
Yes.
Nah,
Yeah.
can't take
Of course. Yeah.
so that was cool.
Yeah.
So in summary, any client that is listening to this, just call Imran and
Yeah.
he'll make it done. Is that
the phone
what
number
it
of the
is here?
developer.
Yeah, clear
Yeah,
now.
and then you can call Eric to implement it. How about that?
Yeah.
Or Becky, or
Yeah.
Hey,
Sandeep.
Imran, just one question on the geofencing. Is it, I would assume it's something you could turn on per company, but can you also do it by employee group? So you have some that can and some that cannot?
I'll have to look at that.
Yeah.
I haven't activated it yet. I haven't activated
Yeah.
it yet.
All right. Yeah. Because
I
I
have no
think that would
idea.
be a valid use case that you might have, some white collars that might want to work flexibly, and then others where you say they need to. I guess it must be,
For sure. I mean, look, if
automatic.
it doesn't, I imagine it will in a subsequent release too, right? That's the nature of these things. You roll it out now and then you enhance it later of like, hey, we need to be able to, subset it or do things like that. So, yeah, I think that's good. Last thing I'll mention is Ask My Pay statement is rolling out to more countries. So I think I want to say Germany, Mexico, and Netherlands. So, I think that's another part of the original thing I talked about, value of AI. One thing SAP has an advantage of is all the languages they support, right? I think that's a cool thing for global organizations. So
Yes.
a lot in this release,
I was hoping you will mention the last one.
Yeah.
That's a key one. Okay, great. Becky, let's go. Let's hear about you.
Yeah.
And
No.
your tree is looking absolutely amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, Imran stole a little bit of my thunder with the AI, but I'm going to push in one particular area, and that's AI for performance and goals. I think many of us have been employees, managers, continue to be. I shouldn't say no one, most people just don't get excited by performance management and goal management. It's one of those things we consider, a have to do type thing. And I feel like SuccessFactors has always kind of led the way in terms of making this an easy to use and an easy to engage with tool, and have been putting time and effort to continuously improve it over the years. But putting Joule into performance and goals, having the ability to have feedback from managers, having the ability to have like pre-built use cases, having continuous performance management where you've got line managers and matrix managers able to engage with AI to come up with consolidated and concise and relevant feedback for employees is just amazing. And then I think in addition to like the actual performance management form, a lot of managers still struggle with how to have productive discussions with their team members about the review, about goals for the next year. So using Joule to create those agendas and giving them talking points and prompts, I think is just really huge.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, we have to do. Most people don't enjoy it. Not everyone is great at it.
Yeah.
But SAP really showed up with the dual functionality that they've released here in this particular area. If you haven't seen it yet, a demo of it or read about it, this is one you should definitely check out. Particularly if you're gearing up for performance reviews or goal settings, later this month or January, February timeframe, depending on your calendar. This is something you could really get in front of your managers for sure.
You,
So that's
you,
my first.
100%.
you think that
Okay,
we're
yeah,
gonna
'cause-
run into a issue where like everyone's thing just looks phenomenal because it's AI generated? It's like, oh, well, my gosh, everyone is like,
So if I start getting structured feedback without spelling mistakes and filling more than
Right,
one
right.
my manager, if you're listening, Frank, don't just but
I
that
think
I'll know where it comes from now on.
I think people are going to use AI tools to help them write performance feedback. They've been using the libraries that SuccessFactors has provided in the past. This kind of puts it in a central location. You don't have to take it out of your system, so you're not putting performance review feedback out on the general web and in open tools. I think giving managers the ability to like summarize goals, summarize status, summarize the KPIs that were in there. I think that's invaluable. And if it leads to a better performance review and a more productive conversation, then what's the harm in that? As
I
long
agree.
as it's focused on that employee, that's always
no,
a good.
Yeah, and
you're right.
Imran, some insights into the testing process when we were testing this feature, and the way the LLM is designed, it really looks into the prompt, and there wasn't a similar response for the amount of test we did. So there,
Yeah, and
it,
I was halfway joking. I mean, like, look, like you said, the KPIs are still the KPIs. So if it gives you feedback for the things that you need to work on, and look, if someone's a poor employee, right, like they can write up a great thing, but I think that stuff will still be evident. And then not only that, like I think it'll help some of those people that maybe aren't good at celebrating their own wins or calling out their own successes, right? Because look, I think a lot of research shows that that's critical toward being successful and getting those raises. Like you have to call out the things that you do well. So unless you have a manager that's going to do it for you, then you're really just hurting yourself. So this allows some of those people that are doing phenomenal work to really surface that, and I
yeah,
think it's great.
Yeah.
yeah,
And they've also put in a little bit of augmented functionality to allow employees to kind of share their progress on things um, across like matrix manager relationships and in some collaborative type structures. So, organizations like probably all of ours, we work with lots of different teams on lots of different projects. And now you can get just more collaboration by people who might be participating in your review. So I think that will add to like the well-rounded experience for the employee and the manager, to be quite honest.
yeah.
I think
And
a lot of the AI-enabled managers would probably end up using some LLM anyway, and I think it's better
That's
that's
right.
within SuccessFactors, so you're not
That's
taking the
right.
data out. And the other is that I think if it's not AI-enabled managers, then writing their own prompts is a lot more dangerous than prompt that has been validated and created specifically for this use case. So I think that's really where I think it can truly use the LLMs and the Gen AI capabilities in a positive way.
yeah, and
Also, let's and I know, Rinky, we got a full agenda, right? So I know you want to move forward, but I will say too, let's not forget also the tactical component of this, right? Here's the reality. The reality is that there's a lot of leaders, right, that might have one excuse or two excuses to go to SuccessFactors, right? Performance and comp. Some of them might have 8 direct reports, 10 direct reports, what have you, right? It is painful, man, like to write those performance reviews, right? And in my opinion, it is a very meaningful ceremony, right? To write a right review, right? Because the whole point is, okay, we can get philosophical here very quickly, but the point is that having tools, right, that would help you with that, and not only help you from a speed perspective, but also, like Becky was saying, the quality, right, of the feedback that you're providing. I think it's a game changer. It's an absolute game changer. So I wouldn't forget that component too, right? That it's like legit from a tactical perspective. It's like a very useful tool.
Yep. Sorry, go ahead, Nikki. I was going to pivot away from AI, but still stay on performance and goals. So you want to chime in or?
I was going to just talk about that performance and goals. First of all, if Jeff Fettner is listening, he's the product manager for PMGM, and I know him and his team has put in a lot of work, so he will be super happy to hear that. But I was just agreeing with you that the person inside, which summarizes the employees' achievements, looking at different data points over the years and the compensation insights. I think those are the two key features for manager. The manager, we oftentimes when we have a new feature, the manager don't get so much love, but they have got a lot of love this year.
They did. They did.
Yeah.
All right. I've got one more for performance and goals separate from AI.
Yeah.
And that is the ability to put in business rules. And
dude, I was going to talk about that one. I love it. Sorry, I got excited because it's one of the ones that I'm the most excited about. Sorry, Mickey, man. Okay, yes.
Chime in with me. Yeah. I mean, going back years and years ago, I started in SAP doing objective management back in ECC, actually a little bit before then. So just to watch it kind of evolve, I actually started as a performance management consultant. So I have a strong affinity for performance. And the next piece, which I'll talk about in just a minute, yeah, being able to put business rules in and to like make things required or not required, or show a field or hide a field, put in a comment box or not, based on input that people are putting. It's a total game changer for multiple reasons. It really allows you to tailor the form and the experience to be dynamic based on information that's put in. But more equally as important, it allows us as configurers to take requirements, and instead of having to have 2, sometimes 3 forms, depending on certain scenarios, it allows us to put it all together in one form and have that form be dynamic, which means at the end of the day, when you're talking about reporting and consolidating numbers, I only have to look at one form instead of trying to amalgamate data across 3 different forms. So for so many reasons, I love that they have included business rules now as functionality with performance management.
And I have to say, Becky, that it sounds like a small thing, but it is really important. I remember my very first performance management project for a large German insurance company that is still a SAP customer this day today. And remember, I took the requirements in the first workshop. They said, and by the way, because this is used for bonus, then the different goal sections needs to have different weights. And I said, yeah, I'll look into if we can do something. And at the end of the day, I had to create 5 versions of that performance
That's
form.
exactly right.
And that existed like for 8-9 years. And every year they had to create 5 10. It was exactly the same. So every time someone said, now we need to do a small label change, or someone had to do it 5 times. My God, this is, it's just to say that it's easy just to create a copy. Yeah, everyone can do that. But the ripple effect is that year after year, you need to continue to make copies where it's just great. Yeah. Small thing.
Yeah, it's a game changer. And maybe to keep it in practice, right? Let's say you have the scenario in which you have a scale from 1 to 5. If you give a 1, now the system dynamically, right, might show up with a comment section which is required for you to explain or justify why you're giving a 1 or a 5.
Or a 5, yeah.
Versus the opportunity cost today or before this, right, is that you either have always, a comment required for everyone or not, right? And again, being practical, if you gotta do 15 performance evaluations, right, in a week, sure, like the philosophy says, yeah, you gotta justify the reason for it, but sometimes you don't, right? So I think, honestly, this is a game changer. And I'm sorry, Becky, I interrupted you.
No.
I got very excited because I think,
as excited as I am.
no, because this is a true, legit game changer, in my opinion, right? For some of us who've been implementing this module for so long. And of course, the idea of having different templates for just one little change, right? Yep. Now this solves this. So I think it's I love it. I love it.
It's significant. It's significant.
Yeah. I'm super happy. And again, Jeff, if you are listening, I'm going to share it with you, this link anyways. he will really appreciate that.
You better listen now after this
Yeah,
whole speech, right?
yeah,
I mean,
No, you know what, Jeff, I owe you a drink, man, because yeah, you're showing up with game changer things, man. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
good stuff.
I mean, from a configuration standpoint, from an administrative standpoint, this is probably one of the most significant enhancements we've had in quite some time. Of course, Joule and the AI portion for the end user experience is significant, but on the back end side, this is significant.
Good
this
For
is
stuff.
sure.
so funny, and it's funny how all of you see it. I'm not, I've entered it, but I would not have had this on my bingo card of like the significant call out. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, this is so amazing!" Then like everyone just, it was funny to watch. So yeah, I hope.
If you think about it, we have most number of customers in PMGM because that was the initial module for success factors. So glad to see it's getting some attention now. Let's move on to Sandeep. What's your top three?
Absolutely. I have to say, though, I'm not a performance consultant, but even I'm excited by that now after having heard all of this.
Me too. Count me on that.
So I think I'm going to continue on the theme of goal management and AI. I think something, I've been working with skills quite a bit, and quite a few things in this release have been a game changer when it comes to career and talent development and the skill strategy for customers. And one that came out specifically that really got me excited was the ability to create a complete goal, a set of goals based on a target role that I have. Right. So being able to look at a role, understand the skills that are there, my gaps, and being able to generate a goal plan utilizing the Gen AI capabilities, utilizing skills in from a profile. That's a major step forward because it really structures and lays out a journey for the user instead of them having to pick and choose what they want to generate goals on. It really lays out a complete plan towards a target that they have in career development. So I think it adds a massive value to that career development capabilities.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's one that I've been really excited about. Another one, again, in skills was a challenge for many organizations, with SuccessFactors, great capabilities now with skills, but with skills open ecosystem partners, as well as the SAP AI capabilities, you can generate libraries, but being able to fill that employee profile beyond the roles-based skill was always a challenge, right? How do I get my personal information and everything that I've been doing into growth portfolio? And I think with the ability to have a CV imported to determine skills and kind of use AI to identify the skills, that again has been something a lot of organizations, I think it gives that last missing piece that was there with the skills capability from an adoption perspective on why everyone should go and update it and making it easier. I think so far most customers that I've worked with, people see their skills and I think they're focusing on, are these the right skills, rating the skills. And when you go on add skills, there's a list of 1,000 skills or 2,000 skills. I don't know what to add. This makes it much easier to create my growth portfolio.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So yeah, I think on skills and growth portfolio, probably those two. When it comes to learning, again, it's a very back-ended, and somebody who's been working with a lot of learning admin would probably know this. But the ability to have the content from iContent visible in the
Yes.
learning admin,
Yeah.
because iContent has always been something that just sits in the background. If somebody set it up for you as a customer, you don't even sometimes know where it
That's
is.
right.
You upload content and it just disappears and you never maintain it. You never do anything with it, right?
Yeah.
We now have a UI to it, being able to manage content, delete content, and actually keep your content updated.
Mm-hmm.
Although very few people will in a customer organization will use it, I think it's massive in terms of the content cleanup and management that organizations can do.
Yeah.
So I'd probably say that those are my highlights. I think from a learning perspective, there were a lot more, I think, but again, all part of incremental changes to the UX update. So I think those are probably my highlights from this
And
release.
since we are talking about skills and talent intelligence hub, I want to add mine. So before you couldn't see custom attributes. So skills and competency were the standard attributes that you could see in growth portfolio. But if there is a custom attribute, you could now see it in growth portfolio.
Utilize that across different processes as well, these attributes now. Absolutely.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So last but not the least, the Swiss Army knife, Pablo.
I have many of them.
Okay.
Many. I think. Now, all jokes aside, I think this release was very significant, at least for me. Right? This a lot of things that are new, good. We talked already about a bunch of them. Here's how I like to start this. although, and I mentioned this the other day in the other conversation we had, it might not be commercially good for this group at a minimum, but the idea of SAP providing more and more tools for customers to do their own thing, I think is huge. Because here's the reality, in my opinion, and I was a customer at one point too. SAP is a great software, right? Or in this case, SuccessFactors, right? But I think we shouldn't just measure the software in terms of the quality of the software itself, but it's the whole ecosystem. And the idea of having to pay someone for something that you could do yourself, I think is huge. That's number one. And then number two, and I'm very vocal about this. I think with access to information nowadays, right? Like the whole idea of consulting, who is a consultant, is changing a lot, right? It's not so much who do you know do you know where to click versus like legit, let's have a conversation. So having said all that, I think one of by the way, I have a lot in my list, right? But number one is the ability to import and export XMLs, right? The truth is that if you look at XML, if you've never seen XML, it looks very scary. But the reality is that it's not really scary, right? It's not, and frankly, the ability, right? Again, the opportunity cost is that you gotta pay a consultant, right, to import or export your XMLs and do that within your your performance templates. I think it's huge.
Yeah.
I see a lot of us, right, still like to do everything in XML, right? But frankly, you don't need it anymore. So I think that's huge. Number two is very niche, but I've come across many times, especially for global organization and in different industries, the ability to, and Becky, I'm looking at you virtually, Sandeep yourself too, because I'm sure you guys have seen this, the ability to transfer data, right, from inactive employment to an active one, aka global assignment, for example.
Yes.
If you started a performance evaluation, and this is significant, especially for comp, think about executives, right, that might be in one country, moving to another one for a assignment, global assignment, but you want to do comp, which is based on performance, your guideline, but you can't do it because the performance evaluation. So that, I think, again, is very niche. It only affects so many people, but I can keep it practical. The people that are affect are decision, is really high up in the organization. So, might as well, let's solve for that. And the last thing I'll say,
helps us offer like a complete solution. You don't have to take those people off to the side anymore and do
100%.
something outside the system. You can keep everyone right in there.
Yeah. Yeah, because also, logically, I guess, see, that's the other thing. Sometimes people don't understand how complex software are. The fact that you have them in the system doesn't necessarily mean that you can do everything with them, right? But now, this is a perfect example of something that, we could accomplish. Again, it's fairly niche, but I'm excited about it because I've come across that one many, many times. And again, usually who does it affect to? It's the guys that pay for the licenses. So I think it's good stuff. And then the last thing I'll say, comp, dear to my heart. By the way,
this is on my list too.
Yeah.
Mention it. So I'm so glad you are. Comp is like the silent workhorse of this system.
Yes.
No, comp, yeah. And I want to do a shout out to Xavier at SAP because it's my comp guy, top guy, by the way. But also, by the way, since we're between friends here, I don't know if you guys know this, but Rinky was my first manager. And could I argue, Rinky, we learned SuccessFactors together? Is that a true statement?
We did. Yeah.
And Imran is laughing because we used to sit next to each other, didn't we? Yeah. The reason I'm mentioning that is that comp is dear to my heart because it's probably the module that I enjoyed the most. The first one I got ever sort of that I started working with, and the ability going to the enhancement to do mass actions. Once we talk about mass actions, right, is about, again, if you're an executive, for example, and you got a plan for a bunch of people, it's unlikely that you're going to do it in the UI. You might be busy, you might be at the airport, what have you. So Excel is something that everyone uses. Historically, it was something that you could only do, and let's say you're planning for salary, it wasn't even the percentage, right? You had to come up with the value right? The currency amount, the amounts. Now you have more exposure to that in terms of the different fields. So you can do basically all your planning outside and then import it and then see the results. So I think that's a game changer too.
If you remember, our
Oh,
first implementation
100%.
was SuccessFactors. It was Pablo and me. We did it. That was our first ever SuccessFactor project. Was compensation some 12 years back, 12 or 13. I don't have the
More
timeline
like
now.
14,
Yeah,
but it
more
was
like
yeah. I
14 years back.
remember. I still remember that way. Yeah, she gave me terrible performance reviews. Just so you guys know, she
You
needed some
can
AI,
right.
for the performance, but that's okay.
Oh, you need to feel
Again,
some
have
pressure if
proven.
you got to improve, right? So
Yes.
Yeah, continuous improvement. Yeah,
you
100%.
see, that's what happened now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
happened. Yeah.
Well, if there was any, like, how you get the peer feedback, my feedback was always top notch. I don't know if you remember, but
Yeah. Although you were ruthless at one point, man. Leave it at that. That's
Yeah.
inside conversation. But anyways,
Uh,
I had many other in the list, but I figure out, I'll do the, and then of course, the rule scenario that Becky already mentioned. I'm
yes.
really excited about that one. But
That's a
yeah,
game
good
changer
stuff.
for sure. So, so nobody mentioned the new homepage. Have you tried that?
Well,
I
What is
guess
the
it's a reason nobody mentioned it. No, just kidding. Totally kidding. Totally kidding.
if you have tried it? Maybe the customer has not enabled it yet, but what is your feedback on that?
it looks nice. But I guess part of it is like when there's new items, you lose certain pieces of functionality, and so I think clients naturally have kind of, at least the ones I worked with, stepped away from wanting to be the early pilots, unless it's something really, really exciting for things, right? So look, I think it'll be good in the future, but we'll see.
Okay.
yeah,
I
I
still
think
get hung up. They had a great homepage, like, I don't know, I'm making up a number, 7 years ago. I can't even remember. And it's changed so much since then. I still have this other one in my mind as being like the most easy to use, the most user friendly, the most engaging, the easiest to, I won't use customize, but tailor for different user groups. And you could just put things right where you need it and have the custom tiles, which could pop out to do different things. And I know you can still do some of that. It's just, it's harder to do now. And visually, like visually appealing wise, the version we had, however many years ago, that's just what has always stuck with me as being my preferred homepage. I feel like we're drifting towards something that's a little bit more sterile and less visually engaging. How about that? I know the
Interesting.
functionality is
Yeah.
significantly stronger.
Yeah.
I
I
think
would love to take your feedback to the UX.
SAP will, I mean, the ability to have dynamic content, which ties back to analytics, SAP provided a framework and then they came up with a total of 3 tiles. What? I mean, yeah, if they come up with 3 dozen tiles, I would have been impressed. But so this is just like, okay, we made it, but I would expect to see quite a lot more dynamic content for the homepage. I think what I've explained to customers is that, well, this is it's more of a skin update. It's an improvement of reducing, spending less time on a fancy picture and then, reducing size of some tiles so you have more space for the dynamic content. And then in the future, we'll see some more dynamic tiles with some metrics, supporting the action or the data-oriented, data-driven organization. You need to put metrics on the homepage, not just lists of actions, but also some metrics.
And it used to be so easy to create your own dynamic content.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was
out there. All you have to do is check a box, push the homepage.
Yeah. Now the framework is there, so we should be seeing, in the next couple of releases. But yeah, I do agree. Yes. Why did I not mention it myself? Well, I had to choose. But I think those are good companies opting out and saying, no, we don't want to be the first movers because we really burnt our fingers the last time. The great thing here is this is not a complete refactoring of all the code. It's more of a skin update. And I'm sorry, UI designers, it's a wonderful skin update, but luckily it's not a complete recoding of all the 25-year-old code that we had in the previous new homepage.
Yeah.
And by the way, SAP, we need to give these homepage numbers or names. The new page, the latest homepage, the most wonderful, the wow homepage. Yeah, you need to give them numbers or something. Teams.
Absolutely. Okay. I'm just looking at the time. We have a few minutes, and I just had a fun segment. I just wanted to ask again, it's December, holiday time. Tell me your favorite holiday movie or the things that you like to do in the last 2 weeks. And let's start with Pablo.
It's gonna sound super weird, and I know we are recording this, but I told everyone, including family members, that I'm traveling. I'm not. I want to spend it alone in my house with my 2 cats.
Yeah.
And like no interruption, no nothing. I don't want any invitations. Like no, I want to spend Christmas
Yeah.
by myself. I gotta catch up. You guys know I read a lot, right? So I gotta catch up with my books. So it's gonna be an interesting one because I've done it. I've done it at least once, but I want to spend Christmas on my own this year and by design. And I don't want anybody to invite me to anything because it's I just want to be at home, chill, no meetings, no emails.
But we
Reading.
will meet for lunch, you, me, Imran, and Becky, because we are all based in the same city. So
Sure.
okay, let's go to Eric. What is that one thing you look forward to, or the movie?
The movie. Well, you didn't mention that. I've forced my kids to watch Die Hard. The last 10 years. I'm sorry. They hate me for it. Last year they revolted and we had to watch Die Hard 2. So I had to. Yeah, so we did that. But apart from that, it's family time. I really, our kids are growing older, so ability to bring them all together. We still have the old folks around, so that is something I know in 5 years' time or 10 years' time, I'll be looking back and say, wow, that was wonderful. Looking forward. So completely different to you, Pablo. We will have the family around. We'll 17, 18 people for Christmas dinner. We'll have a wonderful day.
Yeah. That's a very interesting choice for a movie for holidays. But Sandeep, what
I
about you?
know. Not on the evening. I mean, it's during the Christmas days. So
Okay.
And for us, it's again the whole family gathering together. I think it's we come across from 4 different countries, meet up in one location somewhere. So I think there's about 14 to 16 of us, depending on if someone's not able to make it. So that's something we always look forward to. This year, all the kids are super excited about this next set of episodes of Stranger Things coming out, I believe, the day after. So I think we've booked a mini cinema kind of where we are to be able to watch it out there. So that's the plan this year.
Fun. Becky?
Well, I don't have a favorite Christmas movie, but growing up with my sisters, my parents, it was about baking Christmas cookies.
Yeah.
And my mom would bake like really intricate Christmas cookies. And always let us help her. And so this year I actually bought my kids matching aprons with their names on them. And I think they're finally old enough for us to like bake together at least some of the different recipes.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that, to starting that tradition with them.
Yeah, awesome. How about you, Imran?
I'm a big basketball fan. You can see from my hat. So the NBA games, that's what I like to do. So I don't have a lot of time to usually watch TV, but around the holidays, try to just sit down and watch some of the basketball games.
Yeah, and I think working in payroll, one of the downside is you are probably busy that time of the year.
Yeah, and my wedding anniversary is also December 29th, so you can imagine how that goes. So
Yeah. And I think for us is meeting with friends and family. We typically host a dinner, and me and my girls, we have almost every year watched a movie called Santa Paws. They're older now, a senior in high school and a freshman in high school, but we still love that movie. So we'll do that again. Okay, this was fun, guys. I know you all are busy, and I'm so glad you could find the time, the 1 hour, and I'm looking forward to do this twice every year. Thank you for sharing your insights, and have a great holidays.
Thanks so much, Rinky.
100%.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see everyone, by the way. Enjoy
Yes,
the
you as
holidays.
well.
Yes.
Yeah.